Imagine the scene. It is August 21st, 1986, in the remote northwest province of Cameroon, West Africa. A humid tropical night wraps around a peaceful valley flanked by steep volcanic cliffs. Nestled deep inside a massive crater sits Lake Nyos, a body of water that appears perfectly calm, reflecting the cold starlight on its glass-like surface. Our main character is not a person, but critical geological structure, a natural reservoir over 600 feet deep, holding a staggering chemical weight. Imagine the small agricultural villages, Nyos, Cha, and Subum, scattered along the valley floor below the lake's high crater rim. Inside these mud brick homes, over 2,000 people and thousands of livestock are settling into deep sleep, completely unaware that the lake above them has become an incredibly unstable mechanical trap. The primary behavioral data point is a total lack of warning. The lake has been quietly absorbing carbon dioxide from underlying magma chambers for centuries, turning the cold lower waters into a highly pressurized, carbonated engine. The power dynamic between the silent geology and human biology is a fragile, loaded circuit. The archive is open. The timeline of the total atmospheric sabotage of the Nyos Valley begins with a sudden, silent shift in the deep layers of the water column. Technical density expansion. Lake Nyos is a maar lake, formed by a volcanic explosion roughly 400 years ago. Its waters are strictly stratified, meaning the cold, dense lower layers never mix with the upper layers. This creates an ideal technical system for gas accumulation, trapping an estimated 300 million cubic meters of carbon dioxide under a high hydrostatic pressure of nearly 20 atmospheres at the lakebed. The clock moves toward 9:30 p.m. The exact mechanical trigger remains a point of deep scientific debate, perhaps a minor rock slide from the crater walls, or a tiny volcanic tremor beneath the lakebed. But the physical fracture is immediate. A massive column of dense gas-laden water is displaced, moving rapidly toward the surface. As the deep water rises, the hydrostatic pressure drops, causing the dissolved carbon dioxide to violently burst out of solution, exactly like a giant soda bottle being uncorked. This is a Limnic eruption, a rare, terrifying phenomenon of fluid dynamics. Imagine a colossal fountain of water and foam exploding 300 feet into the air, creating a mini tsunami that washes over the crater rim. The primary behavioral trace is a sudden, deep rumbling sound that echoes through the mountains, followed by a white, localized mist rising from the crater. In less than 10 minutes, a massive cloud of 80,000 tons of pure carbon dioxide gas is released into the night sky, creating an invisible, heavy blanket that immediately begins to roll down the valleys like a silent avalanche. Technical density expansion. The thermodynamic release of the gas causes an endothermic reaction, lowering the water temperature rapidly and turning the surface of the lake from an intense blue to a deep, rusty red as iron-rich water from the bottom was forced upward and oxidized. The kinetic energy of the eruption was calculated to be equivalent to a multi-megaton explosive event, completely stripping the vegetation from the immediate crater shoreline. The gas cloud, being 1.5 times heavier than common air, hugs the ground tightly as it moves at speeds of nearly 40 miles per hour. It floods into the valley, completely displacing the vital oxygen. This is a total biological exclusion. Imagine the scene inside the village of Nyos. People are asleep in their beds when the invisible wall of gas enters through the cracks in the doors and windows. There is no odor, no fire, and no mechanical trauma. The carbon dioxide concentrations instantly spike to over 10%, a lethal threshold that acts as a rapid anesthetic, deleting human consciousness in a matter of seconds before freezing the respiratory system. People die in their sleep, while others collapse mid-stride as they try to step outside. The power dynamic is absolute. The atmosphere has been transformed into a toxic sea. The biological trace shows that over 1,700 human components and 3,000 cattle are deleted simultaneously across a 15-mile radius without a single drop of blood being spilled. Technical density expansion. Carbon dioxide at a 10% concentration induces immediate hypercapnia, leading to rapid respiratory acidosis, cellular hypoxia, and a complete shutdown of the central nervous system within 90 seconds. The low-lying trajectory of the gas meant that individuals sleeping on elevated platforms or living on higher ridges survived the initial wave, while those on the valley floor experienced total asphyxiation. The morning of August 22nd reveals a landscape of absolute silence. Imagine the first forensic search teams and local travelers entering the valley from the outside world. What they discover is a scene of total, clinical devastation that defies common military or natural disaster logic. There are no signs of a struggle, no broken buildings, and no structural destruction. Instead, they find a total void of biological life. Thousands of cattle lie dead in the fields, their bodies perfectly preserved without marks of predators. Human bodies are scattered across paths, doorways, and beds, looking as though they were frozen in place in a single microsecond. This is a critical forensic anomaly, a mass casualty event with zero kinetic wounds. The early investigators are terrified, fearing a secret chemical weapon testing or a bizarre localized plague. The rastro of the gas is invisible, leaving only the blue sky, a blood-red lake, and a valley filled with ghosts. Technical density expansion, the lack of immediate rigor mortis, and the unusual posture of the victims suggested an instantaneous metabolic arrest. Pathologists performing the initial clinical audit noted that the skin of many victims showed unique, localized chemical blisters, which were later identified as a rare physiological byproduct of prolonged hypoxia, combined with the intense cutaneous pressure of collapsing onto hard surfaces. The subsequent investigation by an international team of geologists, chemists, and forensic pathologists turns toward the lakebed to solve the technical mystery. They drop specialized sampling bottles into the deep layers of Lake Nyos, confirming that the water column is still heavily saturated with lethal gas. The forensic audit officially classifies the event as a Limnic overturn. We analyze this as an environmental sabotage of the highest order, where a natural landscape slowly manufactures its own weapon of mass destruction. The investigators uncover a paper trail of a similar, smaller event that occurred 2 years prior at Lake Manaun, proving that the region's maars are highly dangerous chemical storage units. The data reveals that the cloud of carbon dioxide didn't just suffocate the victims, it acted as a thermal blanket, extinguishing every open cooking fire in the villages instantly, leaving a trail of cold hearths as a structural indicator of the exact minute the gas arrived. Technical density expansion. Analysis of the gas concentrations confirmed a nearly pure carbon dioxide composition, with trace amounts of sulfur and helium, ruling out a direct magmatic eruption. The rapid extinguishment of internal combustion engines and open fires provided a precise forensic timeline, showing that the atmospheric oxygen levels dropped below 12% within a 4-minute window across the entire primary impact zone. To prevent a second catastrophic deletion, scientists and engineers had to design an absolute mechanical intervention. In the 1990s, they initiated a technical project to install a permanent degassing pipeline inside Lake Nyos. Imagine the engineering feat. A 5.5-inch wide plastic pipe dropped vertically over 600 feet into the deep, gas-saturated water column. To start the system, water is pumped up the pipe just once. As the pressurized water rises, the gas bubbles out, creating a self-sustaining lift mechanism. The pipe becomes a permanent, controlled geyser, constantly venting carbon dioxide safely into the upper atmosphere in small, harmless concentrations. This is a mechanical recalibration of nature. The power dynamic has shifted from a ticking geological bomb to a computer-monitored drainage loop. The degassing pipe acts as a safety valve, systematically lowering the gas pressure at the lakebed to ensure that a spontaneous Limnic snap can never occur again. Technical density expansion. The automated degassing system operates on a siphon principle, where the buoyancy of the releasing gas bubbles drives a continuous upward flow of water at a rate of roughly 100 liters per second. Microsensors track the atmospheric gas levels of the crater rim, linking directly to an array of solar-powered telemetry units that transmit real-time chemical data to international monitoring centers to track the lake's ongoing stabilization metrics. The social and physical rastro of the Lake Nyos disaster remains etched into the landscape of Cameroon decades later. The government established a total exclusion zone around the lake, forcibly evacuating the surviving population to resettlement camps outside the valley. The villages of Nyos and Subum became instant ghost towns, their empty structures slowly reclaimed by the dense tropical jungle. Imagine the scene as the wooden roofs rot and the mud walls crumble, leaving a mechanical footprint of a culture that was deleted in a single night. In recent years, as the technical logs confirm that the degassing pipes have successfully removed the majority of the risk, some families have begun a slow, unauthorized return to their ancestral lands. They walk past the overgrown graves of 1,700 souls, rebuilding their lives next to the very waters that once stole their breath, a testament to the stubborn persistence of biological components against geological pressure. Technical density expansion. The exclusion zone covered over 30 square miles of highly fertile volcanic soil. The socio-ecological impact analysis showed that the total displacement of the regional agricultural economy led to a long-term disruption of trade routes, requiring a permanent international food aid pipeline until a gradual recalibration and safety clearance of the soil and water tables was approved. The final minute-by-minute forensic reconstruction of Dossier 31 ends here. Over 1,700 lives deleted by a silent, invisible breath from a pristine mountain lake, leaving a beautiful crater as a monument to a perfect geological ambush. The trace left by the Lake Nyos eruption is a lesson in the severe power of natural systems to turn the very air we breathe into a mechanical weapon. The biological facts are immutable: a valley silenced in seconds, a lake that turned to rust, and a team of engineers who built a pipe to tame a monster. The Limnic snap remains the definitive text in volcanic victimology and atmospheric safety mechanics. Your mind is the final piece of this investigation. Join our community of investigators by clicking the subscribe button. Help us track the traces that the deep earth tries to hide in its silent waters. I am your guide through the darkness, and I will return with a new dossier very soon. Keep your mind sharp. Focus on the facts with your eyes closed. And remember, the most dangerous threats are those you can neither see nor smell, and every evidence counts. This is Mind 74, and we are the keepers of the cold files. The investigation is suspended, but the file remains open. Until next time. Technical density expansion. The Lake Nyos file is now studied globally as a baseline text for limnological hazard mitigation. The permanent transformation of the lakebed through active engineering serves as a technical benchmark for how modern science can monitor and suppress deep earth chemical accumulation before it reaches a terminal threshold.